any advice for anyone right now, which I should not even be giving advice. Like, I'm probably the last person who should be giving advice. My whole personality now is being post-grad, and I think it's because I have nothing else to fixate on. And when I was at school, I was so scared of like coming home and not having a job that like...
How much should good car insurance cost you a month?
We don't give a
$80, $120?
We don't care.
Nope.
I just, just was applying to like random places that like I knew I probably would not like, but I was like, I need a job, so I just was applying. And that's just like not the way to do it. Actually like read what you're applying for.
No, at this point, you might as well not. Because you know why? Because these jobs don't even take into consideration that people out here need their damn bills paid. They need their rent paid. They need to make a living for themselves. So damn, if you got to sit there and go on an application and apply for something that you don't even see yourself doing, damn, it got into this point. What else are you going to do? You're already killing time as it is. So it's just like, at this point, it's just like, you got to do whatever you got to do. You got to do what you can. The fact that, oh my goodness, bro. We did not get this far in evolution as far as our education system to get to this point where we're going backwards in society. What happened to the job market? There was jobs like literally everywhere. Did the pandemic mess that up? I don't know. But I remember the time where it was just so easy to find a job. Now it's damn near extinct. Some of these companies, I feel like they're literally just hiring people just for the simple fact for them to just cut costs, just to make it seem good on paper. Hey, we hired this amount of people, but therefore we didn't actually hire them. Because like I said before, in my previous videos, you are an expense that the company has to pay for. And they're trying to cut costs on all these damn expenses as much as they possibly can. So they don't care about you, the everyday worker. They don't care about you. They care about one thing and one thing only: how much money they make and how much they can preserve it. So yes, it's all a scam. You can't
like read what they want you to do, and like maybe 4 out of 10 times, like there's going to be like more on the job description that like just simply was not mentioned, or the job description that you were given like isn't what you're going to be doing. And I like kind of learned that the hard way. And honestly, like I'm so grateful that I did learn the hard way, because now I'm being extra picky with like applying. And yes, you can't be like super picky for your first job out of college. I get it. There's a way to go about it where you're not gonna feel like you're taken advantage of. And I feel like that's what you really have to focus on. I had an internship when I graduated. Like I was already like working for them, and then I started working in person. And great company, really, really loved it. It just, I was like, I need a real job at this point. And when I was applying to real jobs, like one company got my hopes up and I was so excited. And it just like didn't work out. And like, that's so fine. And like, it's okay to know when a place like isn't meant for you. It's gonna be okay. And yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Question, how long?
But it's like, damn, will we ever know? It's like, we can't even have the opportunity to at least see if a place would be meant for us if they're not even damn hiring. It's like, what's the point? How can I weigh out my options if I can't even get the opportunity? Come on, the world may never know. But it's just, it goes down to all these damn experiences and it's just like, bro, what are we doing in 2025? What is our country doing? What is the job market doing? Granted, for the people who have jobs, hold on to your jobs, appreciate it, because it is hard out here and it's only going to get even harder. So we literally have to find a way to figure out like a more cohesive system that we can thrive in, where we can get back to the drawing board and figure it out. Okay, what it is that we need to do as a people to make sure that we can be self-sufficient for the long run. If we can't think of any solution, we're just going to keep playing this game where we're just going to be playing catch up for as long as we live. And nobody wants to be playing catch up. Playing catch up is exhausting. You know, we've already played catch up for. Listen, we're already doing that through school. We're already doing that through these jobs that we have to work until getting from point A to point B. Who wants to be doing that for another 5, 10, 15, 20 years? Nobody. You know, people want to be set. People want to actually enjoy the fruits of their labor. They want to experience life. They want to travel. They want to do other things. Nobody wants to sit here and try to figure this life shit out every single day. The everyday stresses of trying to survive is exhausting. And it doesn't make any better when you got rent that's raising up. You got prices of everything is astronomical through the roof. You can't even go to the damn grocery store and get a damn basket of fruit without having to spend an arm and a leg. You can't even get a carton of milk. For a carton of milk, you're gonna spend at least $4, at least $5, depending on where you shop at. If you shop at Whole Foods, good luck.
Did it take you to get employed post grad? I'm entering, I think, month 7 at this point. Month 3, I was like, you know what? This is a sign from the universe. I need to travel more. I need to just live. I've been studying. I've been suffering. I need to have these moments to just thrive and YOLO for a little while. But it's getting to the point where I'm like, I have my master's degree. Why doesn't a level high school diploma only job not want me?
Masters? So you might be overqualified at that point. I heard this thing, like, if you have like a degree in a certain job where, like I said, you got the minimum is a high school diploma, I guess you're overqualified. Which it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't, because if you can't find a damn job with a master's, why are you quote unquote overqualified to work a job where you need a minimum high school diploma? It just doesn't make any sense. A job is a job. I'm not going to put it past anybody just because if they get a job working at damn Walmart, and then I'm not going to hire them because for the simple fact that you got your damn PhD. You've been in law school for at least about 10 years and what? Is it like, can you stock some damn groceries or not? What are you overqualified? It doesn't make any sense. But you got your master's. It's like, yo, you didn't spend it is a scam. So to get your master's, I'm pretty sure that's like what, 8 years in school or something like that. I know it's a long ass time. Don't quote me. I might be wrong, but I know it's a long time. With all the studying, all the tuition, all the extra expenses, the loans, all that shit adds up. And meanwhile, these schools and all these corporations, they got their money in their pocket. They don't care about you. They're not going to put it back out there. So
why does a job that only requires a high school diploma reject me? And I know it's probably because the pay range or whatever, but I'm getting exhausted. So how long did it take you guys to get employed? Please let me know and give me advice and tips.
Someone please help me find a job. I just graduated from a master's program 3 weeks ago with a master in public health in health policy and law. And I have been applying to jobs since March in Connecticut, in Massachusetts, in Texas, in DC, and I have not been hearing back from any of them. And I just don't understand like what I'm doing wrong. And I try to contact the people that have declined me or just ghosted me altogether. And I'm just not hearing any responses. And I know it's the market right now. I know people are like, it's so hard to find a job, whatever. But I need a job. Like,
we all do, sis. You ain't the only one. And you know what? And here's an idea of a proper solution. How about everybody who's gotten their degree in a certain area, you band together, put your resources together, put your money together, and how about you create your own change? See, that's what they really don't want. Imagine if you actually did that. You know what? Instead of knocking on the door to be let in, you create your own complex where you can enter and go as you please. You enter your own place of domain where you can go and come out as well as you please. See, that's the real change. That's what they really don't want. Imagine if you, like I said, you and a bunch of people with your degrees, you put money together, you create your own practice, you create your own businesses, you create your own jobs. You know, you create something that you could create a demand for people, what they need, especially if you could provide a service. You know, maybe it's some ideas you got to write down. Maybe you got to think outside the box and figure out what it is that you can do to stand out and do something different, to be a service onto people. That way you can start making your own money. Get a close group of friends, invest in something, you know, because that's the way to do it in 2025, bro. This job market is only going to get even worse. It's not getting any better. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. And like I said before, it might be because maybe AI is about to take over our economy and stuff like that. And maybe these jobs, they automatic. There's something that they know that we don't know, because this doesn't make any sense. 10 years ago, you can easily get a job. 15, 20 years ago, easily. And I'm not going to say like easily, like as if it's like they didn't have problems. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a fair share of people who probably had diplomas. My grandmother's best friend had her master's and was hard to get a job. And this was back in like 2006. So, I mean, you just got to put your money, you know, in the right places. Put your resources in the right places. You know, if you got your degree, okay, maybe that's God telling you, maybe you need to start your own business. Maybe like I said, get a close group of friends, start your own business, invest in it together, and then create essentially your own job. You could provide jobs for other people. Now, instead of being a tail, you're the head. So maybe we got to think more outside of the box, because in desperate times calls for desperate measures. And I'm not saying that has to be in a bad way where now you got to do any and everything because out of desperation, but maybe there needs to be a proper change. There needs to be a shift in the midst of our desperation where we need to start thinking how to be more self-sufficient. Because if the grocery stores and all these things were to close down, what are we going to do as a people? Are we just going to just sit there and not do nothing? Or are we going to, as the humans have, how we evolved through adaptation. We evolved through creating resources, gathering resources. We used to hunt. We used to garden. We used to do all these different things. You know, maybe we got to get back to the real roots instead of leaning on convenience of a system that's going to continue to fail you day by day, month by month, and year by year.
I need a job and I need help. So if anybody can help me, that would be great. If you want more information on the places that I'm applying right now, I'll do a little bit right now. But I've been applying to Texas Health, specifically the ones in Plano and Frisco. And I've been applying to infection prevention roles. I've been applying to medical lab scientist roles because that's also my background. So I've just not been hearing back. I'm either not hearing anything or an interview is scheduled, an interview happens, and then it's crickets. Like, I've had 2 cases where I had an interview and then I didn't hear anything back. And I don't know if this is normal, but I don't like it. So if anybody can help me, that would be great. I'm willing to do anything. I'll do sales. I would love to be in the health policy sector, but I know that most
interviews, 1 creative assessment, and have yet to hear from the company. I did find out from LinkedIn though that they filled the role. I had my final interview with this team 5 weeks ago. I'm definitely disappointed because I was really excited about the job, but more than anything, I am really hurt that they haven't even bothered to contact me, especially because I just really liked all the people I interviewed with and liked them as people. It really didn't seem like the type to leave someone hanging for this long and be this cruel, because it is cruel. And I know things can get very chaotic and busy, and I'm sure they're very overwhelmed with everything they have going on, but that's why I held off on reaching out, because I didn't want to be bothering them. Because as much as I know people say you need to follow up and check in,
No, I don't believe in following up, because ain't no way in hell a job is too busy to fill a certain role. They're not too busy because there's people in these certain departments where that is their job, is to make sure that the role is getting fulfilled. The turnover rate the math has to be mathing. You know, every time you lose 2 people, you got to fill that position with 3 more, 4 more. You got to double that. Because at the end of the day, we are the people that helps get the job done. So there's no way in hell, if you are hiring, there's a job is supposed to call you within that week span, within a few days. There's some employers that respond within a day. There's no way in hell you going 5 weeks without no communication, and I gotta be the one to reach out, but yet you're the one that's hiring. Like, I don't understand that. It's just, to me, if a job really wanted you and needed you, they're gonna make it happen as quickly as possible. They're gonna make it happen as quickly as possible. They're not gonna wait a damn month and some change. Then they're gonna want to reach out to you. Yeah, you know, the position is still open. Sometimes when jobs are doing that, they're trying to weigh out their options. Possibly. It's either you're trying to weigh out your options, you probably don't even need any workers. You probably thought you was going to let go certain members. You know, all these changes that happen at the top, bro, there's a lot of things that we don't know about behind closed doors because we're not in these rooms. We're not in these positions. We're just the working people who help make the company continue to grow. But at the end of the day, we don't know what the CEO and the managers and the general managers have in mind and what change that they want in the company. We don't know what duty that they have to fulfill just to make it look good. So maybe they can cut costs on taxes or whatever the case may be. Maybe they hire you, so maybe it goes towards a certain tax, or goes to, I don't know, whatever it is. Maybe it's a certain policy. They got to have a number. I don't know. But at that point, it makes you question, like, yo, there has to be something deeper than the fact that you're hiring.
Wanted to give them their space, and apparently that meant they were going to give me space forever. And I knew they had a lot going on because someone currently held the position I was interviewing for, so I figured they probably had to let that person go and then move forward with someone. But regardless, I feel like once you're hitting the 2, 3, 4, 5 week mark, a quick email at any point just saying, hey, we're still in the process of interviewing candidates or, reviewing candidates, but we'll get back to you soon. Or letting me know that they've chosen to go in another direction if they made that decision that early on. I don't think doing this is normal at all. It's not professional. It's really mean. I don't understand how companies are just allowed to do this to people, especially, in today's job market. It's hard. And I'm sure it's hard on their end too, but it's really fucked up, honestly. It's unfair because I'm waiting to hear back, thinking maybe I have this job. I don't know how much effort to be putting into other jobs because I don't want to waste more time and effort, because it's a lot of energy to apply to a job. Tailoring your resume, writing a cover letter, preparing for interviews. It's very draining, and so you don't want to, I don't want to say overexert yourself, but kind of, you don't want to be doing too much. I know rejection is just redirection, even when they don't bother to reject you outright. I'm debating sending an email to the HR person and manager I interviewed with, just, saying all this. I don't know if it's worth it. What's done is done. Thing is,
at this point, it's not worth it. They pretty much are going to do what they need to do. Like I said, you've been waiting to hear from an answer for 5 weeks. To me, it's not worth it. I say at least a week follow up. For 5 weeks, they are probably moved on with other workers, whatever the case may be. And like I said, they just treat people like another number at the end of the day. They treat you like another number. But yet they want you to be the most outstanding, remarkable employee. Want you to go there and, like, they don't care about anything that you got outside of work. They don't care about your personal life. They give you 1 vacation week out of the whole entire damn year. If you call in a certain amount of times throughout the year, you're at risk of losing your job. They don't care. And yet they don't have the means to even want to reach out to you, considering the fact that, hey, you're literally waiting to hear back from them. They're not looking at that in consideration. They don't care. But they don't want that same energy reciprocated towards them. You can fire me at any time, but I gotta put in a 2 weeks notice. Huh? You can terminate me at any time, but I gotta put in a 2 weeks notice to quit my job. What type of you don't like? It's a selfish, condition-based relationship. And I get it, it's business, it's transactional. You provide a service, you provide an opportunity, and I'm going to provide my skill sets, my talent, and my work ethic in exchange for money so I can pay my damn bills. You too. But the thing, when it's one way and we can't even come to a common ground, well, that's where it gets tarnished. That's when it becomes more one-sided instead of just having the best interest, not only in ourselves, but you as well, considering the fact that you're working for us. Not saying all employers are like that. There's some employers that treat their employees outstanding. You know, you get the whole full package. You get the respect, you get the opportunities, you get the perks within your 401k and all these different benefits. But then there's some, employers, they don't have no understanding that you are human. You have a life outside of your job. You got some employers who don't care. They want you to be like a damn robot, show up, do your job. They don't care what else you got going on. Your job is your main priority. In hindsight, in a sense, it is a priority. It is one of my top priorities, but I'm not going to prioritize a job over my mental health, my family, my relationship with God, none of that. Because at the end of the day, it's just a job. Yes, this is for me to pay my bills to get by, but there's a million different jobs out here. But just like in that same sense, they could say there's a million other employees out here as well. But that's what happens. So I feel like once we get back to being solution based and figure out, okay, what is the alternative to this? How can we change the playing field where it can benefit us and it favors us?
In all my interviews, they let me know their company and office are planning to expand a lot. And so that sounds like they're going to be interviewing a lot of people in the future. And I genuinely hope they don't do this to anyone else. If you work in HR or you're a hiring manager, please don't treat people like this. I just feel like it's common courtesy. Someone's taken the time to apply to a job at your company and interview you and then also do a creative assessment. Honestly, even if they only apply to your job, I think you owe them the courtesy of letting them know.
To them, they don't look at it that way. To them, they don't owe you anything. Because in their eyes, you never worked for them. You're just another person who they don't know if they can trust you. They don't know if you're a great asset to the company. They can only go by off of how you present yourself during the interview, but they don't essentially know what type of worker you are. There's no personal relationship or understanding of who you are and what you bring to the company, other than the fact that you applied for this role so you can eventually get money. And they know that. These companies know damn well that people only apply to these jobs because they need money. You got some workers out there who want to rise up in the company, who want to be the CEO or whatever the case may be, but people who work at these jobs, they essentially just want a paycheck. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what it is now. So they're looking at you like, listen, I don't know you. I don't owe you anything. They're not going to look at it that way because, like I said, it is a one-sided transactional relationship. They only care what you can provide for them. They don't care what they can provide for you because in their sense, they already can provide an opportunity to make money and to potentially grow. But even though that's limited, because there's a lot of people who bust their ass out of job for 20 years and still don't get the recognition or the opportunities to ever move up in a company. They get a damn thank you card and go about their damn day and work another 40 listen, that's just how it is. But at this point, we need to find a solution because the definition of insanity is repeating the same things over again and respecting different results. Are we going to come to a common ground, pull our resources together and say, F them? Let's create our own functional system That way we don't have to rely on them, because relying on them is doing nothing for us. You know, we got mouths to feed. We got to survive. And how are we going to do that if we're continually relying on people who can't provide that for us? So at this point, it's a matter of taking a certain action. We got to do something about it. We can sit here and voice our frustrations and talk about it all day. We could talk years about this. I'm pretty sure they were talking about this since the beginning of time. I'm pretty sure during the Great Depression and everything, they've gone down this rabbit hole of not having jobs. We always go through this period in time in history. History just repeats itself. We have a time where the economy is booming. There's all these jobs. You know, everything's cheap, whatever the case may be. And then there's times where, you know, shit is not always the best. Everything is just on this downhill slope that we just can't even just get ourselves out of. So we have to get back to the drawing board as people, because at the end of the day, we share the same idea and rights. We are American citizens, and all we want is a fair shot at the quote unquote American dream. And whatever that looks like to you, hey, and that could look like to you in any shape or form. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to the root, and that is money. That is surviving. And like I said, until we figure out the next step, we're still going to be stuck in this damn loophole. So that wraps up this video. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all voice y'all concerns, your comments, your frustrations. Do y'all think it'll get any better? Me personally, I don't think it's going to get any better. Especially with the whole thing with AI and all that coming. Yeah, say goodbye. But make sure y'all hit the like button, comment down below, subscribe. And if there's any other videos you want me to react to, let me know, because we're going to be reacting all 2025. Before I wrap this up, I just want to give all praise to the Most High God and my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. We didn't tune in with another video with Turn Me Up Tony, and I'm going to see you guys on the next video. Peace.